Hey everyone, this is episode 3 of Wolf's EnderIO tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to be talking about the last part of EnderIO, which is all the really good stuff, all the really fun stuff. Everything that was leading up to, conduits and stuff like that. We talked about the items that you can create, we talked about the machines used to make some of the items. Now we actually get to talk about the real uh, heart of this mod, which is moving energy, items, and fluids around. So let's jump right into it here. Basically, what EnderIO has is it has what it calls conduits. And conduits are really, really awesome because you can hide conduits inside of walls. Now you might be asking yourself, how did I do this? Basically, what EnderIO adds is a little thing called a conduit facade. It's very simple to make. It takes 8 of the conduit binders that we looked over in the first episode, just in the shape of a chest, and you get one of these conduit facades. Now, if you notice, when I'm mousing over this, it says painted with EnderIO. This means that I haven't actually painted this yet. In order to paint this, I'm going to steal this for a second and fly this way. I have to use one of these machines, a painting machine. And what this will allow me to do is take the blank conduit facade and actually paint it with a particular block. Most blocks from most mods will work. The only ones that I've found that they don't really work very well are things that are transparent blocks like glass, or semi-transparent blocks like stained glass and things like that. They don't work for conduit facades. For some weird reason, there's also a couple things from Thaumcraft that also will not be paintable. But for the most part, I mean, obviously Tinker's Construct works with this, and you just put the facade in, you put in what you want to paint it with, and it comes over, and blink, now I've got 23 of these facades. And if you look, I'm using them on these tutorial houses here. And I'll go over the tutorial houses in a little while. So that's basically what you can use to hide the conduits. Now, the conduits themselves, there's a whole bunch of them here, as you can see. The first one here is the Redstone Conduit. This is the very, very basic type of conduit. It allows you to send out a redstone signal to anything it's attached to. This is indiscriminate. Okay, as long as it's connected to it, if you flip a switch, if you press a button, it will send a redstone signal to this. It doesn't care what it's attached to, where it's going, or anything like that. And you'll understand a little bit better when I explain what these guys do in a moment. The next one is the conduit switch. I haven't really found like a lot of uses for this. I'm sure that somebody that's a little bit more creative with this will probably find some stuff to use it for. The conduit switch is fairly easy to make. It's a lever, conduit binder, and one of the basic redstone conduits right there. Basically what you do is acts as like a little lever. You can right click on it and it'll turn on any redstone signal. Now, indiscriminate redstone signals, this is what I'm talking about here. What I've got set up is I've got this little conduit switch with 4 redstone lamps. Normally this redstone setup would be really annoying inside of Minecraft, or maybe it's just me, I'm not sure. I really don't like redstone. I'm not very good with it. But normally this would be a very annoying setup in Minecraft. The nice thing is that if you look underneath, there's nothing underneath here. The reasoning for that is because if I grab my Yeta wrench, you can see all I have is one piece of redstone conduit and the conduit switch on top. Now, when I do this, it turns on all 4 lamps. Okay, this is very useful if you want to light up a room very suddenly. There's a lot of really cool things, I'm sure, that, like I said, more creative people than I can accomplish with this. But again, this is sending out a signal to any block nearby. Okay, doesn't matter. The insulated redstone conduit, on the other hand, a little bit more complicated to make, not too bad still. Redstone alloy, okay, conduit binder on the top and the bottom. And you get 8 of these, by the way, for all of these recipes that I'm going to be going over, with the exception of the conduit switch. You get 8 of the redstone conduits, you get 8 of the insulated redstone conduits, you get 8 of all of these. All right. The insulated redstone conduit, on the other hand, is a little bit more specific about how it does things. Basically, if you remember, I believe it was red power. If you remember red power, you could lay out specific redstone lines, and you could have color-coded lines, and you could say, okay, when I flip this lever, I want the red signal to turn on, or when I flip this lever, I want the orange signal to turn on. It does the exact same thing with compact beauty. Okay. You can see here I've got two levers. I've got one that's labeled lime green and I've got one that's labeled blue, and you can see the color band, all right, on the actual right next to the plate, the interface plate. By the way, these interface plates, when you put conduits over them, get hidden inside of the conduit facade. Allow me to show you here. I'll just grab 12 of these. I don't need 12, but you know. Okay, if I just make sure you've got the hitbox of the thing selected, and there we go. We can very neatly hide these here. These levers can be on the ground, they can be on the facade themselves, you can hide them anywhere. So, I've got the two colors there. These two colors, alright, notice I have one conduit coming out of both of these switches, but then I have the conduit switching off again to a blue input here, or an export rather, and a lime green export here. Okay, and you notice I color-coded the boxes. The blue one has, or should have, I was testing this a little early to make sure it worked, blue wool inside of it. Okay, and the green one has lime green wool inside of it. Now, normal Minecraft, if I flipped one of these switches, it would send out a redstone signal to both of these items because they're both hooked up. Here's the thing though, like I said, it works like red power. If I flip the green switch, notice it lights up the entire thing, but only the green wool is gone. The green wool goes to the green chest because I have these color-coded. That green goes to this green, which was flipped by this green lever. If I flip the blue one, okay, now chest is empty, goes to the blue chest. Alright, that is the basics of the insulated conduit. You can do this with tons and tons of things and do really awesome stuff. You can have little mini games if you wanted to. So for example, you notice I have the wool on the ground underneath the levers here, and I have the wool on top of the lights. I also have the color bands, right, on the actual plates themselves that are connecting to the items that are going to be giving and or receiving the redstone signal. So this one is labeled green, okay, that one is labeled blue, however. This one is green, that one's red. That one is blue, that one is red. So now, since I've got everything nice and color-coded, this one's red, that one's red, this is the red lever. The red light turns on. Even though this entire array of redstone conduits lit up, only the redstone lamps went on because it matches the channel, quote-unquote, or the color band that I put on there. If I hit the green one goes on. If I hit the blue one goes on. And vice versa. I can turn these off in any order. Doesn't matter. Okay? If I want to light up a row of lamps, red is going to light up the bottom row. Okay? I have it on the other side here. Blue lights up the top row. So you can do lots of really cool stuff with those. I find them to be extremely fun to use. Next one is the energy conduits. These are one of 3 items that we're going to be talking about that are used to transfer power in EnderIO. Why 3 items? Well, there's 3 different tiers of power transfer. This makes it so that you can slowly move up in the tier of power transfer depending on what resources you have available at the time and what machines you have available at the time. You know, all 3 of these require the alloy smelter, but it's okay because they make really awesome things, and I'll show you. So the first one is the energy conduit, and if you look on my Wayla up at the top of the screen, it says 500 MJ. Alright, if I look in here, conduit, mouse over this for a second, here we are, it equates to about 1280 RF per tick. Alright, so how we make these: conductive iron, conduit binder, we get 8. Very nice. Okay. The next one is the enhanced energy conduit. This can transfer a little bit more power. It says about 520 MJ. If we look at the recipe here and mouse over, it's about 5,120 RF. Alright, just to let you know right off the bat, this second tier of enhanced energy conduit is a higher transfer rate than the conduits that actually exist in thermal expansion. If I was to do thermal expansion here for a second, go to the conduits page. Here we go. All right, we have the leadstone 80 RF. Okay, hardened energy 400 RF. And the top end one is 10K. We have a really large jump there. All right, this guy 5,000, he's already half of the max one that you can make, and the redstone energy conduits can be annoying and difficult to make. Alright, and then the last one here, this is my favorite one. Alright, this one says it transfers about 2,000 MJ a tick. If we look at this one, a couple of vibrant alloys down the middle, conduit binder again, we get 8. This is 20K RF per tick. To give you an idea, the redstone energy cells that you can ultimately make in the end, there you are. This is only capable of outputting 2K anyway. That's its maximum output. So already with the orange conduits you've got here, you've already hit the max transfer rate of the redstone energy cell. Alright, that's one of the top end ones. Now if you really wanted to get crazy with it, you could of course get yourself a resonant energy cell. Again, this one's top end output is 10K. That's half of what the top tier Ender conduit is capable of putting out. So these are really, really awesome, really, really efficient, really great. The next one is the item conduit. The item conduit is very, very simple. It is pulsating iron nugget, which is basically one pulsating iron in a crafting table, and you get 9 of those guys. So you put 3 of them together with the conduit binders, you get 8 item conduits. The empowered item conduit is different from the item conduit. The recipe is a little bit different, and it basically has more features. This is the quote-unquote upgraded item conduit. This guy actually requires 3 pulsating iron, not the nuggets, and you will get, again, 8 empowered conduits. If you happen to have applied energistics installed, you'll also find another type of conduit, the ME conduit. These are fantastic. Applied energistics in Minecraft 1.64 does not work with covers. Okay, if you have Forge microblocks installed and you try to do these covers and stuff like that, they won't work. If I tried to put a cover on this, it won't work. Okay, now this is an EnderIO conduit, but here's the nice thing. EnderIO conduits that are ME conduits can be covered in the facades. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't work with the covers. I can put the facade right over it, which is awesome. You can't cover these, so that's a little bit of a problem. I mean, you can cover them with other stuff, but it's just annoying. Nighttime. Boop. There we go. Daytime again. Sorry, I probably just blinded a whole bunch of you. The ME conduit's very easy to make. Again, you'll only have this recipe if you have applied energistics installed alongside EnderIO, which, by the way, highly recommend. It's an awesome, fantastic mod. So it is 3 Fluix dust, which you make with applied energistics, and conduit binder. Now you only get 3 of these. So the recipe kind of equals out to what you would get from applied energistics if you were going to make the ME conduits from applied energistics. You get 3 at a time. I'll have to find it later. But anyhow, you get 3 at a time, so that evens it out and you get 3 at a time. And they work just like regular ME conduits, and the ME systems recognize them just fine. If I go down here, you can see here it recognizes conduit bundle. Alright, it doesn't have the right icon, but it recognizes what it is. It knows that there's 2 of these right here, and it's sending them the appropriate amount of power. So you can use those in lieu of the other ones. The last item here is one of my favorite items. This is the Staff of Traveling. One vibrant crystal, which is an emerald surrounded by vibrant nuggets, which is one vibrant alloy, with one electrical steel and the octadic capacitor, will get you a not charged Staff of Traveling. Staff of Traveling is a great item. First of all, you will have to charge it, so you'll either need a capacitor bank or a what is that thing? Hang on a second. From thermal expansion. There it is. Energetic infuser. I should have known that one. Alright, all charged. So now that it's charged up, I can do this. And I can go back and forth between these two. Or I can jump to that one over there, to the travel anchor. Whoop. There we go. Destination unobstructed. So that's a really cool little toy. Now, I didn't really go over the more specific parts about these energy conduits and the item conduits, so I'm going to go over those right now. Where is that little setup? Power conduits. Where are my power conduits? Oh yes, my power conduits are over here. Basically, if I come in here for a second, you can see that I have these little lights right here. If I flip this one switch, all of those lights are going to turn on. Let me go back to, I'll go to nighttime so you can see this a little better. Okay, if I flip the switch again, they're all off. They provide quite a bit of power, by the way. Okay, why does this work? Go to daytime. If I grab my Yeta wrench, you can see that I have the voltaic cells attached to the energy conduits here. Okay, I can also set this up so that the energy conduits, when I press this lever, send out a specific signal. So if I only wanted to turn on certain ones in this room, I can set all these. For example, this lever can be the red band. I can go over here, I can set this one to red. So if I wanted to, let me change that to green for a moment, and you'll see this one is no longer on, okay, because it's not on the same band that these are. However, if I come over here and I right click on this again, get it back to red, yeah man, almost there. The only problem with these is that you do have to cycle through them. There we go, got red. And it's back. Alright. Very nice, very easy to do. Now, if I right click on this actual plate, I'm going to get some options. Turn off NEI for a second. Huh? What I can do is, this is the options for the insulated redstone conduit. What do I want this to do? Do I want it to send power? Do I want it to receive power? Most of the time, if you leave it in out, that's perfectly fine. If you want to get really specific, if you're hooking it up to energy cells, if you're hooking it up to other engines or something like that, and you want to set it to out or you want to set it to in, feel more than free to. I will set it, you can also set it to disabled as well. I'm going to leave it as in-out in this case. And you can see I can actually change the signal color from in here too. I don't have to do the whole right-click shenanigan. I like doing it this way though, because I like seeing the immediate effect when I hit the right color. Alright. Let's see, so those are the conduits. Anytime you have a conduit bundle or anything like that, anytime you have these little plates that are connecting to a redstone device, you can click on the plate and you'll get certain options. If I come over here, not this one, here we are. Okay, what you can do is you can create cool little things like this. Let's say I have a gate around my compound and I want to create a drawbridge type deal. What I can do is I have this nice big button from Open Blocks. I press it, I have a gate that comes down, I can go through it, and it comes back up. Alright, I can do this with the conduits. And I can have buttons on both sides of this device. I can press it from here, it'll go back up. I can press it over here, and it'll go back up. Very nice. Let's see here. So on these conduits, if I right click, okay, this is an item conduit. Item conduits can be set several ways. They can be set to extract, insert, or disabled. Alright, in this case, they can also be set to in-out with insertion filters and self-feed disabled, so you can constantly provide items to a specific chest. That's a little bit more advanced than what I want to get into in this episode. I might do a more advanced tutorial later down the road, but I just want to show the basic functionality of the item conduits. I want to also make sure that this is not one of that's the empowered one. I want to do the regular ones first. Nope. Oh, that must be the other side. Here we go. These are the regular ones. If I click on the plate again, okay. So these are the basic item conduits. The basic item conduits have basically the same settings. Okay, let's say I want to pull out of this chest here. I right click on this plate, make sure it's set to extract. Extraction filter allows me to say, listen, I only want you to pull blast glass out of here, and then I have to put whitelist. Or I can put this here and I can do blacklist and say, do not pull blast glass out of here. I can say, pull everything else out except for that. Or I can do leave everything else out and pull this out. I can also match the metadata, so for example, some weapons, when they are damaged, will have metadata on them. In that case, or like an energy cell or something like that, if it's not full, it'll have metadata on it. It's the colon and then the number after that. So you can have it match that. So for example, if you just wanted to pull out, I don't know, bows or something like that. Let's say you have a mob grinder and you get tons and tons and tons of bows. You just want to throw all the bows into a trash can. I can have an item conduit shuffling all of those bows to a trash can, ignoring metadata. Meaning, I don't care how damaged the bow is. I just want you to get rid of it as long as it's a bow. As long as that first portion of the number before the colon matches. Again, I can also set these to channels. This is important in case you want to do this, which is redstone mode, or if you want to move items from multiple chests. So redstone mode, again here I can set the signal to red. So for example, grab my insulated conduit here. Let's say I want this chest to pull only when it gets a signal from a blue lever. So if I get a lever here, we'll just put that guy right there. Now it's automatically set to red. There's blue. Okay, so if I flip this, there's nothing in here right now. Let's give it something to move. We'll tell it that. And actually, we have to make sure that we remove the item filter there. And there we go. And it should pop over here in a second if this is set correctly. Ah, see? Now this is set to output as well. So I have two chests that are trying to output to one another. So this item in here has nowhere to go. So what I have to do is I have to set this one to insert. Okay, in this mode, again, I can whitelist. So say I only want the staff of traveling to move over here. So let's say, for example, I put these three conduits over here. Whoop, and they already went. Okay, because I told it to do that. So let's say insert, and I want to whitelist the staff of traveling, and only that. So when I put all this stuff into the chest, wait for it. Gotta make sure it's ignoring metadata, because the staff of traveling will have that on there. Whitelist, insert, metadata, sticky mode, disabled. Yep. Extract. Oh, right, because the redstone. There we go. Staff of traveling, go! Okay, it wants to be annoying right now. It's a little oddball. Oh, did I disable that by accident? By right-clicking on these, by the way? Yeah, that's what happened, I think. Yeah, that's what happened. By right-clicking on these, you can turn off the sides. So if you don't, for example, grab some more of those. Hang on one second. So let's say I've got two of these redstone conduits next to each other. Normally, they would form a little square like this. Let's say I want these to be two separate lines. What I can do is I can just right-click right there, and it separates the two of them. That's what I did by accident. Shift right-clicking will normally pop these off because I'm in creative mode. It's just destroying them. But you see, since we changed that whitelist to the staff of traveling only, the only thing that moved was the staff of traveling. If I give this another redstone pulse, it should move that other staff. Not moving the other staff. Very oddball. Anywho, it moved to the first one, so that's good. Turn this off. But basically that's what you could do with those. These guys have the same, actually no, those don't have any actual options on them. But yeah, so that's the basics of the channel colors and the item conduit basics. Then we have the advanced item conduit, the empowered item conduit. Again, let's say I want to move items here. I want to extract from this one. Now, the other redstone modes that you have are redstone mode active without signal, meaning that anytime I throw anything into this chest, it'll automatically try and export it. Oops. Export. I can do redstone mode never active, alright, so in this case it's not ever going to go. It's essentially the same as disabled. Always active, meaning it's going to try and go no matter what, and then again active with signal and active without signal, etc. And then always active no matter what redstone signal it gets. The empowered item conduits have a larger filter in them. They have a little bit more information. You can match NBT data. Some items use NBT data rather than metadata. Not going to get into the mechanics of that. And then the OR dictionary. If you have never heard of the OR dictionary, basically, sometimes with multiple mods, what you end up with... Oh, I turned NEI off. That's what happened. Oops. Nope. Come on. There we go. There we go. What usually sometimes happens is that you'll end up with, 5 different types of silver, 7 different types of tin, 3 different types of copper. You've got copper from Tinkers. Let's see. Copper from Mechanism. I'm sure copper from thermal expansion is here somewhere. So basically what happens is that even though these are both copper, they have different IDs. So let's say I just want to chuck copper in this chest. I don't care what mod it's from. I want it to go into this chest. What I can do is, first of all, let's set this to insert. And what we're going to do is, let's say I'm just going to put this copper in there. And I want the OR dictionary enabled. What this means is that it's going to use a particular entry inside of Forge, there it is, to recognize that this OR is basically the same thing as another OR from another mod. So you can see this kind of interchanging. Tinker's Construct, Metallurgy, Mechanism. So it won't matter if the OR I put in here is from Tinker's or from Mechanism. You see that they both go because they're both OR dictionaried as the same thing, and you can see that by pressing U and going to the OR dictionary page. Okay, so that's what that is for, and it's very, very useful, I can tell you right now, especially in FTB and Technic when you have a lot of these. So yeah, that is the EnderIO tutorial, and that is the end of this particular tutorial series. If you want me to get into more detail about the channels or about the item filters on the item conduits, let me know. I will make a little supplementary video. I'll keep all this stuff in the world for right now. Or if you want to see some really cool things that you can do with the redstone conduits, let me know. I will definitely do some little builds and show you that too. I mean, you can use these to disable certain machines. You can use it to enable certain machines. You can make an entire factory that's automated with a single flip of a switch. I've done that. You can make an entire factory that turns off at the flip of a switch, just disables every single machine, makes it stop doing what it's doing. Really, really useful for when your power consumption is high and you don't want your factory running all the time. But anyhow, if this video helped you out, please be sure to like and subscribe. There's going to be lots more tutorials to come. I'm hoping that maybe the next tutorial I'm going to be doing is either very, very basic Thaumcraft or Darkcraft. So stay tuned and hope to see you next time.